we are going to give this a go. Let's see if I can actually get it up on my computer and figure it out. Because if you're following my channel, you will know that I've not done a live before. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we should be, that's all good to go. So hello, if you are catching me live, or hello if you're watching this later. I have not done a video in a little while, and that is because I've been so busy with the website, and I've been doing loads of lives in my group. Hi. And the thing with doing the videos for YouTube is I don't edit, as you know. So what happens. You can laugh at me, laugh with me, and we just move along. Hi, Helen. And that's how it is. But my camera splits the video into tiny little pieces, and that takes forever to stick it together. I can't remember what that's called, but it takes so long. And then I have to upload it to YouTube, and I just haven't had time. So then I was doing another live in my group this morning when it hit me. If I did it live, it would not be cut into tiny pieces. I wouldn't have to do all that because this will upload it automatically, and I could get more content to you here on the YouTube channel. So we're going to give that a go today. So yeah, we will start with some updates before we get into the actual theme of the video, which is gemstone, crystal, waters, elixirs, essences. We'll get into all of that. So updates for the website. The Yule ritual kit is now available. You get the full kit of your tools as well as the full several page ritual itself. So I have some bits to show you because it's been a while since we've had an update here on YouTube. So this is the Yule candle that comes in the Yule kit, piece of thread. Thank you very much. So yes, these are handmade by me. They are pure essential oils, natural soya wax, organic, non-GMO soya wax, I have to say. This little green on top is completely biodegradable. That is in your ritual set, as well as your Yule oil here. You get your 3 pieces of fabric here, your 3 matching herbal blends, which we have here. And you also get your 3, you'll get 3 of these, it's upside down, 3 of these ribbons, as well as a selenite stick, and your 2 crystals, which is natural Brazilian citrine, if you've seen my citrine video, and clear quartz. And we'll be working with those. You'll have full instructions on the ritual itself. That's on the website. Something that everyone in my group was quite excited about was Crystal Treasure baubles. So you can go and choose from 2 price points. You'll get your lovely bauble. Inside is a wrapped up crystal treasure. These are not tumble stones. These are like not proper crystals. All crystals are proper crystals, but larger specimens. There's pyramids, there's carved hearts, there's angels. You can see some examples on the website. So they are up as well. Oh no, I've got to hold this up again. I did this in my group yesterday. As well as the gift baskets, which there is a ton of price points for. So you can get those. And with the bauble and the gift baskets, if you are getting them as a gift for yourself or a friend, family member, and you would like them, because they're intuitive, you'd like them geared towards a specific intention like healing, prosperity, you can pop that in the notes to seller, and I will put your either your basket or your bauble together for that intention. So that's those updates. I have also released the first group course of the year, and it will be the only one because we're at the end of the year now. If you are in my group, you know that this year I've been concentrating on one-to-one online tuition with my students. But I was called to release the current course after a lot of things that were going on in the community, things I was hearing. I was getting a lot of requests for it. So I've released my energy management course, where we are going to learn everything there is to know about, well, as much as we can get into, but it's going to be a lot, as much as humanly possible, about managing your energy, protecting your energy, how to remove blockages and energy, like properly go in surgically with using crystals to remove energy. What is your energy? What's other people's energy? We are going into the whole lot. If you'd like to see exactly what's in the course, you can go on the website and it's all detailed there for you. It's going to be done on Facebook in a private Facebook group. Admission for this is limited because I want to have a lot of one-to-one personal time with everyone so I can get everyone's questions. It will be 2 live sessions, each at least 1.5 hours, at a time that fits most people here in the UK as well as international, but it will be recorded and in the group, and you'll have interaction with me daily in the group as well. So that is the energy management course. I think that's it in updates. Don't think I'm missing anything else. No, I probably should have wrote a list, but you know me, by this point I'm not going to have a list. So today's topic, I feel this needs to come down a bit. I feel like I'm really like super high up. That's a bit better. Crystal waters, okay, gem elixirs, you'll hear them called all sorts of names. So we're going to start off with the, if you like, the traditional use or way or what it is of a gem elixir or a gem essence. Now you would usually make or buy them, and they will come in little brown bottles like this with a dropper, and you would put several drops in another glass of water and take them. Now this is how, as crystal therapists, we are trained to help clients and to work with the vibration on an internal way with gemstones and gem waters. And you make what's known as the mother. Now the mother you make with your crystals, all like either direct or indirect. We're going to get into that in a little bit. And then you would add a preservative such as a vodka or a brandy. If you have bought them in the shops, then you will often see on the back that contains vodka or brandy. For a shorter lifespan, you can add like syrups and honeys and stuff like that to help preserve it, glucose. And then small dosages are used, but it's become extremely popular in the crystal community, in the new age community, to drink crystal waters daily. And people are very interested in how they can make their own. Now it's actually a really simple process to make crystal waters, but the thing you need to bear in mind is that crystal toxic? Because the direct method is taking your crystal and putting it directly in water. The indirect method is placing that crystal either inside that container but somehow contained, so it's not touching the water, or you maybe put your water in a grid that you've created so that the water gets charged with that, and that's an indirect method. You cannot use all gemstones directly. You would not want to use malachite directly in your water because it is very toxic and you don't want to be ingesting that. So if you're thinking of making crystal waters at home, then you need to be able to research what is toxic and what is not. If you are ever uncertain on a crystal, then go for the indirect method. Now there are numerous ways of doing indirect. You can use a glass bowl with a smaller glass bowl inside of it containing your crystal or crystals, and then you fill the outer bowl with water, always making sure that that water doesn't overflow into the smaller one. Or you can, like I said before, you can place them around the outside of your jar, of your glass, however you want to do it. Now, where are my jars? Jars and containers for making waters are really important. Plastic is a no-go. You want glass jars. They should be clear. If they have a lid, it should be a clear glass lid, okay? So this one's got myrrh in it, but I don't have an empty one of these at the moment. This is my myrrh one, but as you can see, it's glass here and the lid is glass and clear. This is really important because you're going to place your crystals in here if it's direct, along with your water. The crystals will be on the outside touching the glass or on the lid. So one with a nice flat lid is really good for that. And you're going to place this in the sun. Now that is how you traditionally make these waters, okay? Now, when you make it, water is important. You want to be using a mineral water from like a glass bottle. You don't want to make gem elixirs and gem waters from tap water. And this is because tap water has a lot of chemicals in it. It's very high in fluoride. They're all different mineral levels. They vary where you are, what country you're in, and all of these things interact with the vibration of your crystal and the molecular structure and the vibration of the water you're using. So the whole point is to be as pure as possible and make the purest elixir as possible. So something like glass mineral water. This would be perfect to make a gem elixir or a gem water with. If you have a filter at home, you know, like the Brita filters that you fill from the tap, you can use that water. Some people have filters these days attached to their taps, some very fancy taps out there on the wish list. In which case you can take it directly from your tap because you have that filtration system in there, but you don't want to take direct tap water and use that for your gem waters or your gem elixirs, okay? Now, what the trend is right now, we're going to get into benefits and things like that in a second, but we've got to address this first because there's this big trend of carrying gemstone waters around with you. And people have cottoned onto that business-wise because it's a business opportunity, and they have brought out these elixir bottles. So they're bottles with some form of crystal in. Now, some of these, if you really want one, will work fine and it's all good. So if you do want one of these, what you want to be looking for is a glass bottle. Must be glass. There should not be any plastic, okay? And then the crystal inside is directly in contact with the water, all right? Now, those would be the bottles if you want one, which in a moment I'm going to tell you why you don't need to spend that exorbitant money on one. But they are pretty, and I completely understand why people would want one. They are lovely to carry around. They make a statement, which a lot of people like to do. But if you are going to shop for one, shop smart, get a glass one and get one where the gemstone is in contact with the water. Now, there is some limitations to them because the ones where there's contact with the water, they're limited in what gems they can offer you, and you have to pay extra usually to swap out the base, which has the gemstone attached to it. So it can be a very costly process doing it that way. Now, to bring costs down, because people realized, okay, these are wanted, there's definitely a market there, but they're very, very expensive. Then they started releasing the plastic bottles with either like it looks like a snow globe almost, or a mock generator shape with the crystals inside encapsulated, often in a fluid, supposedly a non-toxic fluid, and it's all plastic. Now, plastic is your enemy if you truly want to work with gem elixirs and waters, regardless on if it is free of, the word has left me. What's the stuff in bottles that they take out of a lot of them these days? I think it's with P. You'll know what I mean. Regardless if it says on it, BPA, it came to me. Well done, Claire. Clap for me. If it is BPA free, it makes no difference because the plastic will still leach into the water. This is scientifically proven. This is nothing to do with the holistic market, crystal market, or anything else. You can research plastic held water that's been stored in plastic, and you can see for yourself. That's a science thing, okay? That's nothing here. But that plastic interacts with the water. One, it leaches in some stuff, but two, it alters the vibration of the water you've put in there because you're using plastic. Now, if your crystals are encapsulated in plastic, their vibration cannot get into that water in the same way. You are going to get a very weak, very altered water. So the plastic ones are definitely something to avoid. 9 times out of 10, they're floating in another little liquid in there, which, what is that liquid? What vibration does that liquid have? Everything has vibration, and the reason to use crystal waters and gem elixirs and things like that is because we want that high vibration, whether that be for a healing reason or for an intention reason. So you don't want plastic. When you're making your elixirs at home, you don't want to use plastic jars. If you're using a glass bowl and you want to put a smaller glass bowl inside, it needs to be a glass bowl. Some people like to get the little glass vials for the indirect method, and you can buy them and they have a cork on top and they're quite long, and you can get them all different sizes. They're really, really practical. You can pop your tumble stones in that glass vial, put the cork on, and then sit it out of the jar or out of a glass bowl, and then you've kept everything glass. Okay, so something to be really aware of. Try not to get sucked in to those plastic bottles, and if you do want one, really go for a glass one, but do think about practicality, because the crystals they're using is often rose quartz, clear quartz. It's going to be the quartz family because they are the ones that are safe for direct method. Now, what's to stop you going and buying one of the reusable glass bottles that are everywhere on the market? You can get a clear glass bottle that's actually a toughened glass, so that obviously you're not going to be like smashing it everywhere. Glass bottle, and you can put your tumble stones straight in there. That's going to cost you a fraction. On Amazon you can get them for £8 compared to paying £80 plus for a glass one with just one crystal in it that you have to buy replacements. So it's not something that needs to be unaffordable or unattainable for people who can't afford these fancy bottles. Okay, so we have covered the plastic. Let me see, because I did make a note of a couple of things that I definitely wanted to cover on here for sure. Yes, so I want to get into the difference between the traditional essence types that you get in these bottles and the ones that people are making, and how our thought system on using gem waters has changed, and why some people are having so many questions about it and having trouble with gem waters. They are great. They're really good in a healing setting, but they were always traditionally used in a kind of therapeutic setting where you would come and see the crystal therapist or speak to a crystal therapist, or even yourself at home, do research, go online and buy. I don't think I have any of the little bottles that you'd add a few drops, like beige flower remedies. It's the same with beige flower remedies. Think of them very, very similar in the way that they work, except one is crystals and one is flowers. Now, beige flower remedies, you wouldn't think of drinking a glass of that, because you'd think, well, what effect is that going to have on me? But we have completely changed our thinking when it comes to crystal waters, that we can just drink a jug of whatever crystal it is every day and think nothing about it. But when you do see a crystal therapist, the first thing we're going to talk you through, if you are being prescribed gem remedies, is the fact that you could have what's known as a healing crisis. So you start taking them, and say we're trying to clear a blockage, for example, then you could start taking a couple of drops. It's literally a couple of drops in a glass of water of this gem elixir, and taking it, and you may actually feel worse to start with. You may have some emotional disturbances, you may have some physical disturbances, because you are taking something very powerful with a very high vibration to help you move through something, to help you heal something. Now, the problem with then moving into drinking tons of any crystal that looks pretty is that is going to have a very clear effect on your body, and a very intense one. Now, depending how sensitive you are, and depending how much you're working through, and if you're doing it with intention, which does come into it as well, you could feel worse drinking gem waters. And I get tons and tons of emails from people saying to me, Claire, why is it that I'm drinking these gem waters? I take my bottle to work every day. I've got this, this, and this in it. And if anything, I'm tireder. If anything, my physical health is worse. If anything, that negativity I'm trying to get rid of is much stronger, and I'm having more anger outbursts. And it's because you're giving yourself such a massive dose. So if you're going to start with gem waters, firstly, be very clear and careful on what crystals you're going to use. Start with gentler crystals, like rose quartz, for example, which has a much gentler vibration to it. Aventurine, the calcite family, these have gentle vibrations. And start off just by drinking half a glass once every other day, and see how you get on with it. Don't jump straight in if you are someone that is very sensitive, if you are someone who reacts strongly to crystals when you're working with them generally. You don't want to jump in. What we've lost with this current boom in popularity of gem waters is actually using them with intention, actually being very conscious and respectful of the crystal, and going through the process that we would normally do. If you're making these at home, you can cleanse that tumblestone. You can program that tumblestone for the intention you're looking to get from it, and then you can make your water. But the thing with them being more of a fashion accessory is people have tons of them. They put them together, they fill them with tap water, and then they head out the door and they don't think about it again. So that's when you run into problems. I feel you get problems physically because people aren't expecting necessarily the reaction they're going to get to them, to the waters, and also spiritually and ethically a little bit, because it's become more of a fad and a decorative thing than an actual conscious working of a crystal that we may do if we're setting up a grid, if we are making a mojo bag. All of these things suddenly becomes, oh, I'll just use fluorite today because it's pretty. So the other thing I get asked is there any books on this? And there's not a lot of really good resources. The couple of resources there are online about crystals that are toxic or not toxic are literally lists, like they go on and on and on, and every crystal on there is toxic. And the reason people do this is because they don't want to get sued. Because technically, and this is the God's honest truth, every crystal, regardless of how safe it's supposedly meant to be, has the propensity to contain something toxic. And that's just a fact. Even when we come and think to rose quartz, which we would assume would be safe, clear quartz would be safe in water, okay? So there's some things to look out for when we're choosing our crystals. But book-wise, one that I have found that is reasonably good as it gets, because like I say, there's no actual information and product out there on this, is this book here, which I hope is the right way round for you. I don't know. I seem to have a bit of delay on my screen, so I haven't got to the book part yet. Oh, wait, light. So it's called Gem Waters. Oh, it is the right way round for you. Fabulous. So you've got the names and everything. So I'll just make it so you can see them rather than me butchering people's names. I'll come in a bit closer as well, so you've got the names there. So that's the names of the two authors. This is the book itself. Now, this book is not expensive. This was £5.99. I think I got it on Amazon. Really just, it was one of those that popped up while I was looking at tarot cards. And I was like, everyone's always asking me. I've never found a good one to recommend. I'll just buy it because it wasn't too expensive. Hi, Anna. This covers, I mean, seriously, this covers everything. This is so, there's a lot in here. There is all about gem waters. There's all about the sensitivities that I'm talking about that you can experience with gem waters. There is every method of making gem elixirs and waters. None of it is faddy. This is not new agey. This is very much along the line of someone who works with crystals, who understands crystals, and has a more crystal therapist type of viewpoint on crystals. So this is a good book to get. And basically there's in the back, it gives you recipes. Now I love this. Oh, I love it, right? Because there's recipes. So if you're truly a beginner, it's going to give you a recipe of crystals you can put together to achieve certain things. But it also tells you here, I'll show you it and then I'll read from the thing. So this is the index in the back where it gives you the pictures of crystals. Now on each section, so for example, where should we go? So we'll start at the top. So it's got aquamarine. So it tells you the mineralogy of that crystal. So it's got its breakdown. This is a beryl containing iron, comes in blue, green. It even gives you its structure telling you it's primarily hexagonal, which is very good for you to learn about, is the structure of crystals, but that's another video itself. It then tells you the indications, so spiritual growth, farsightedness, serenity, discipline, etc. It then goes on to tell you the preparation method you can use. And here it says preparation, all methods are suitable. So all the methods shared in this book, and they've got everything from direct, indirect, the boiling method. There's all the methods in here. You know that with that crystal, you can use all of those methods. Then it gives you the category, and this is why this book for me is top notch, because it says category, a strongly effective elixir, and it goes into this in the book, what I've just said to you. This is why I'm not sure who these people are, but they must have had some kind of therapist training, because it's very similar to the training that I've had. And it goes into what is going to affect you strongly, when you should start off at a low dose. It gives you dosing information. It's not telling you to fill a massive litre water bottle and drink that in a day. Then, for example, if we move down to aragonite, it will tell you it's a gently effective elixir. So this is a gentler elixir that you can drink more of. So this allows you to come away from that more traditional way of using gem elixirs, which, if I'm honest, is still my personal preference. You do not need to drink 3 mugs of rose quartz water to get the effects from it. 3 drops of your mother, which is the one that you've made in the sunlight with your crystals. You've added some preservative, you've bottled it in a dark jar. You can keep that in the fridge. Literally, you can take a glass water bottle, fill it with water, add a few drops of that. Obviously, if you're using a whole bottle, you're going to want more than 3. Probably about 7 to 8 drops for a 500 ml glass water bottle. And that is going to give you the same strength as if you drank the 4 mugs that had it directly in it. And this is where people are getting very, very confused, that they think they're getting a stronger remedy by drinking the mother, basically. And you're actually not. All you're doing is overloading your system vibrationally, rather than, you're not going to get more effectiveness with your healing work or whatever you're using the water for by doing it that way. You will actually get more effect with the smaller dose. And I've seen it time and time again with clients. I have clients that have come to me that have been drinking gem waters from the bottles, making their own at home, drinking them en masse. And once we've taken all of that out and gone back to just that small homeopathic dosage, the same as flower remedies, they have seen better results. But everyone has to do them, and some people really enjoy the gemstone waters. So if you do, this is a great way to do it safely, along with obviously the information I'm giving you now. So it's got tons and tons of gemstones in here. Now, I don't know if this book does cover on it. I'm going to cover it anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Let me see. See, they go into here about how you can combine too many crystals, and you know, these crystals that have got all the chip stones in, where you've got like 20 different. This is good. And they say here, beware of random mixtures. So this turned into a slight book review, but I get asked it so often, and I want to help you as much as possible and give you as much information. So here's their little dosing section here. So it gives you all of that. I think it probably does say somewhere in here what I'm about to talk to you about, although I can't be 100% certain because I haven't looked at this book in such a long time. Well, there's a bit on it here. Fabulous. So there's, if you forget or whatever, it is in the book. So when you're picking your crystals, it doesn't matter if you are making them yourself. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading comments a minute. I have forgotten about comments. I'm bad YouTuber. Yes. I actually have a friend that lives in LA, and she said out there, if you don't have a glass bottle with a crystal in it, then like one of the fancy ones with the big generator in it that's completely impractical to clean around those weird metal spike things. But anyway, it is a fashion statement these days. When you're around, obviously I'm in the UK, when you go to all the events, the mind body spirit events, there's people there selling them. You've got your people walking around and they've all got them, and if you actually ask them, I did stop and ask one of the sellers that had the plastic one and said to them, you do understand that the water that you're going to be making there's going to be ineffective, and how bad the plastic is for, and she knew nothing about actual gem elixirs, where they're from, anything. And she was the designer with her husband of these bottles, and it was a plastic bottle with plastic encased crystals inside. She knew nothing about it. I asked her why there was dyed chipstones and things in there as well, because you would not use dyed stones and stuff like that for this kind of thing. She honestly had no idea. They had just seen the glass ones and thought, oh, we can come up with a good design for that. and they had some money to do it. And it's just, it amazes me that people don't clock onto it and how easy it is to make at home with literally, you know, a glass jar and some tumble stones, and then you can just decant it into a reusable glass bottle to take to work, or you can make the mother and do the drops, whichever one speaks to you most. But when you're choosing your crystals for your elixirs, I would recommend, especially if you're starting out, to use tumbles if you are using direct method. If you are using indirect method, you can use absolutely any form of crystal that you want. If you're using direct method, you want to use tumble stones. Now this is a sodalite. Now if we come in, let me see how close I can get. Now you see this is a perfect tumble stone. Okay. You do not want to use a tumble stone like this. Okay. Now this is where we come into again where any crystal can be toxic. Now this is carnelian, which is not in and itself, if you look in that book I just showed you, if you look on the Google, this will come up as not toxic and safe for direct method. This particular tumble stone would not be safe for direct method because it has a huge hole in it. I can see that there are different minerals in the hole, and we don't know what those minerals are. You also don't want to use cracked tumble stones because dirt can get in there. Other minerals have possibly grown in there when it was growing. You do not want to use included crystals. So you would not get a clear quartz crystal with a ton of iron inclusions, for example. You want the cleanest, clearest specimen that you can get. So no cracks, no occlusions, no holes, none of that, because you don't know what is in there. And these things came out the earth, which is why we need to respect them. Now, once you have your appropriate tumble stone, you need to clean your tumble stone, okay? Now, some people like to boil them. Now, again, not all stones are suitable for boiling. This book tells you actually, out of the crystals that are in here, it will tell you what's not suitable for boiling. So again, back to the book, very good. But yes, but you can boil quartzes, for example. You could boil some water, put them on a little slotted spoon, pop them in quickly, and it will sterilize them. If you don't want to go to that extreme, you can use very, very hot water and a natural based cleansing soap. So if you use a natural kitchen soap, just make sure it's really, really rinsed off well, and you want to dry it on a completely clean cloth or some kitchen towel, something like that that is throwaway. Then you can use it directly in your remedy or your water bottle. Now, can you leave them in your water bottle or do you have to take them out? This is a very popular question. If you're doing the water bottle method, you've got your glass bottle, you filled it with your either filtered or mineral water, not standard tap water, remember. You pop in your tumble stones. Now, if you're going out the door there and then, you can leave them in there all day. The water is not going to keep on, what's the word? It's not going to keep on like absorbing. It's not a sponge that never ends. It will take on the vibration of the crystal, and then it will, if you like, flatline, for want of a better word, then it's done. You know, those vibrations have come together, it's filled with that vibration, so it doesn't matter if your tumble gets left in. If you're making your elixirs at home and you're planning to do the preserved version, then you would put your crystal either directly or via indirect method into your water, by your water, and then place that in sunlight which traditionally we use the solar energy to infuse the water with our crystal. And then you would leave it out there for a minimum of 3 to 4 hours. You don't want to leave it out there more than like 5, 6, because like I say, there's no point. The water and everything will have mushed together nicely by then. Then you come in, take out your crystal, add your preservative, and you are good to go. If you are going to keep them, bottle them in amber or blue bottles, green bottles, but be aware that the color of your bottle will influence your essence. So don't use a multicolored bottle unless you want that color energy in there, because this is how we're doing them at home. Again, we can layer. This is the same with your drinking waters. You can get all different colored glass bottles so cheaply, and you can make a healing elixir for yourself and make that, depending on what's healing to you, in a green or a blue bottle. So, you know, add in extra elements and make sure that you start small. Let me check that I've covered my main things. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I've covered on side effects a little bit. You can get side effects from gem waters, as I have said, particularly if you are ingesting an absolute ton of them. Salt lamps. I will answer that now because otherwise I will forget, but I will come back to side effects. Salt lamps are, yes, they are very fashionable. So you will see them in every size, shape and form, but there is actually very good science behind them. So I would say do your research. You can read the scientific papers on how they change the ions in the room. So they are definitely beneficial and not a fad. Do you need 50 of them in your home? Absolutely not. Do you need a massive fancy one? No, you can get a lovely tea light holder and pop a tea light in for about £5 versus paying £50 for some impressive lamp. But they're not a fad. There is science to back it up that they change the ions around us, and they are helpful in our environment. If you have cats, make sure that they are out of reach of where your cats go. They are extremely toxic to cats, and once a cat starts licking one, it can become very addictive and it will kill them. It is a very serious thing for cats because that much salt will shut down their kidneys. And unfortunately in the UK, we've had quite a few cases of it as the salt lamps and the salt tea light holders have grown in fashion, because cats can't taste sweet, but they really do like savoury, particularly salty things. And something else to be aware of, if you are buying salt lamps and tea light holders and stuff like that, if you have a damper house, especially the tea light holders, or if you just buy like a big chunk of it, if you have damp, stand it on a surface, because they will start to I don't know how to explain it, get a bit like wet and create a little pool that they will be sitting in. We don't have it in our house here, but in our old flat years ago, we had one room that suffered with horrendous damp. It was a rented place. It was just nasty, and it would be sticky and everywhere, so be careful with that. But yeah, so that's salt lamps, little by thing there, but it does all connect. But with your gem elixirs and gem waters, start small. Types of side effects you could get from them are, really think of what that crystal does and what it would be correcting in you and what you're going through at that time. So if you are choosing smoky quartz to transmute negative energy, if you start at a high dose of that elixir or water, however you've made it, then you could in the coming days start to feel worse, more negative, angrier if anger's a problem, down in the dumps. You could get a headache. these are things to look out for, and that is telling you you're taking too much. So you'll want to kind of step back and really bring that dose down. But I think I've covered a lot about crystal essences and elixirs. You can definitely amp them up by putting them under the full moon as well. So if you are making elixirs, for like differentiating them, gem waters I'm going to think of as the big bottles, and elixirs I'm going to think of as these, because that's what we would call them in crystal healing. If you're making elixirs, you can choose to also add in lunar energy to them, especially if you're working on healing feminine issues, anything like that. Then that would be another good energy to add in. Keep it simple. Start off with just one type of crystal. If you are going to add more than one type of crystal, you ideally don't want to go over 2 or 3. 5 would be an absolute maximum, and I would generally say that would be if you were doing indirect and you were gridding, because grid elixirs and waters can be really, really wonderful for making your own waters for altars, not necessarily just for drinking. You can make these wonderful waters and use them as sprays. You can use them to clean your altar with. So if you have a prosperity altar, you could make a beautiful water using 5 different prosperity crystals that you've gridded around that water, charge under the full moon, and then wash down your prosperity altar, wash your prosperity crystals in it and use it as part of their clearing and cleansing process, and then put the altar back together, and you've added in that energy and that vibration as well. And I will touch on moon waters while I'm here. If you're going to make a moon water, and a lot of people add crystals to their moon waters regardless of their use, you want to add a preservative if you're going to keep them long term. Something I hear about a lot is people getting sick from their moon water, and it's because they keep it in a bottle and they're drinking it for the next 30 days, and all they've used is tap water and put it out under the moon. If you're going to make lunar waters, solar waters, again, you want to make sure that you are using either a mineral water or a filtered water for your moon water, okay? Because it's going to be pure and it's going to hold that vibration of the moon better. You want to make sure, if you are going to keep it for use, some people like to put it in dropper bottles, a small amount in a dropper bottle, and add it to their drinks and stuff, then you want to add a preservative like vodka or brandy. Keep it in the fridge, very important. You can use distilled water, and don't keep it too long. I really, even with the preservative in it, and I would use, if you're taking internally, you really do want to use a good ratio, so minimum 40% of your preservative. It won't affect the vibration of the moon water at all, but it will make sure you're not going to get sick. Don't keep it for ages and be drinking away with it. If you're using it for sprays, it still needs a preservative. Water grows bacteria very, very quickly. This goes for gem elixirs, for moon and like lunar and solar waters. Even if you're using a filtered water, a mineral water, a distilled water, that is not going to stop bacteria growth, especially if you're constantly opening and closing that bottle to use some of it. So do bear that in mind. That's a good question, Helen. I'll read that out in case, because I don't know if these are going to stay. Like I said, I haven't done live on here before. I do all the lives in my closed group. So Helen said, what if you think you need a particular elixir, but you actually don't, but still drink it anyway? Can it affect you in a negative way or have no effect at all? That's a really good question. Basically, it's not that it's going to affect you negatively because you didn't need that elixir, but it will work on your body system with what its correspondences are. So you say you thought, I don't know, you thought you needed an elixir for anger, okay? And you used some smoky quartz to transmute that. And you made your elixir and you drank it, and then you were like, well, actually, I don't think it is anger, so maybe I didn't need that elixir after all. Maybe you're not angry, but smoky quartz has a lot of properties to it. So it's going to go in and transmute where it can, which is why I always say to come at crystal elixirs and waters from a very conscious place. It's not just drinking a glass of orange squash. This is drinking something that is active, and it is going to be active within you. So it's not going to give you a negative effect as such. It's not like it went in and it's like, well, you don't need me for the purpose that, you know, I'm going to give you a side effect. But if you've taken too much of it, or if you do have work to do that's deep down and it's unconscious, and it's, you know, it's not a conscious thing for you, it's in your subconscious, and the crystal's going to go in, it's going to kick up some stuff. Which is why when I have clients, we look very carefully at where we want to look at first and how that person is as a whole at that time. Because we don't want to go banging down a door that they're not ready to deal with yet. And that's what crystal waters can do. They can give you a shove in a direction you weren't quite ready for yet. Maybe you weren't ready to do shadow work in a certain area, but a certain blend you did, and then you drank like a liter of it in a day, and it's like, boom, I'm coming in, I'm going to make you feel all the feelings, I'm going to make you deal with it, and we're going to do it in 24 hours. And you're like, all I did was drink a water. But you really didn't just drink a water, you drank a very high vibration, concentrated water, which is why we need to be careful with that. No one wants to be slapped in the face by their crystal waters now, do we? So do be careful. It really, yes, it all looks very pretty and it all looks very fashionable, but with all of these things that come into the new age sector and become so popular, there's often a really strong like back section to that. A serious section, and somewhere that needs to be looked at, so you're coming at it from a place of understanding. A lot of reasons people get themselves in trouble with gem elixirs, with doing healing on themselves, with trying to bring in prosperity, with working ritual, is because they come in at a very flighty kind of, you know, way. And they've come flying in, and, you know, it's, I don't know, it's been on YouTube, and some holistic hoo-hoo has said something, and now it's all the rage, and everyone's got to have that thing, and no one actually knows the history of it, or proper protocols for it, or how to work with that energy stream correctly, how to make that vibration work best for you and for you to be in line with it. So that goes for everything spiritual, really, because there's so much out there at the moment, and we're getting more and more mind, body and spirit shows, and everything is becoming more commercial, and it's difficult. And I'm saying that as someone who does sell things. You know, I have a website. I showed you the Your Things at the beginning of this video, but I will still always show you how to make things yourself, tell you how to perform ritual yourself, give you alternatives, which is why with my energy management course, you had the choice of, you had the choice because the tool sets have sold out now, but when it first came out, you had the choice to have just the course by itself, which is what's still available, or to have the course with a tool set. And then those people will have the tools. I will show how to use these tools. Those that don't have the tools, I'm going to give alternatives, different ways of working. And then if, at a later date, if they can then afford the tools or have the tools and they get drawn to them, then they can get them and they can use them. But you've got to I just feel you have to be honest and come at it from, you know, an honest place. I don't see the point in standing there and lying to people with a fancy crystal bottle or commercializing things, which is why I try and come from a very traditional place and why a lot of my things are limited. I mean, I'll be completely upfront with you, as I always am. I could earn a lot more money with my business. I have had my business for 12 years. Often, many of my products are limited and will sell out very, very quickly. And I could have sold another 50 of them, but I won't, because I still hand make absolutely everything myself, just me. Everything's made correctly planetary, everything's charged correctly. I use a copper pyramid, I use a singing bowl, I use the moon. All these processes mean I can only offer things in small amounts, and that's never going to change. That is how I run things. The same with my course. I could easily have sold so much more of courses I've done in the past, and I don't, because you lose that personal connection. I do one-to-one online tuition and I get messages daily of people wanting to book up with me, and I won't, because otherwise I can't give enough time to the students I do have. So ethical practice is really important, and I just don't want people to get sucked in when you can literally be doing this at home with a jar. Do you know what I mean? Okay, we have another question. Creative Birdie. I really like that. That's so nice. Where did that name come from? This may be a silly question. There's no silly questions. You're new at this. Would it be okay to put a few crystals on your car dashboard, or would it pick up on bad energies? I would love to know your input, please. You can absolutely put crystals on your car dashboard. You can put them in a little pouch and hang them from your wing mirror. The reason I don't put them naked, as it is, on the dashboard is because you do have to be a bit careful because of sun coming through the glass. So if you're planning things like clear quartz and stuff like that, it can be a fire hazard. But you can absolutely have crystals in your car. I like to put them in a nice little mojo bag. I have crystals in the glove compartment of my car. That's my favorite place to keep them. But like I say, you can put them in a little pouch and hang them from your wing mirror, put them in a little pouch, put them on your dashboard. That also stops people's prying eyes on your crystals. If they're all laid out on the dashboard, the people are looking at them all the time, and crystals pick up a lot of energy. You just want to make sure that you do take them out the car every so often and give them a full cleanse and a charge under the full moon if they need it. But other than that, crystals, I highly recommend them for your car. Black tourmaline is very protective of any journeys that you're going on. It protects your car from theft. It's always good to have some nice peaceful crystals in the car with you as well as protective ones, so that you're nice and calm. I mean, if you're a road rage person, I mean, you know, I'm not judging, but there's a lot of road rage people out there that could do with some crystals in their car. So absolutely, crystals in your car, crystals in your handbag, crystals in your bra. You know, we had a conversation about this in my group actually, and someone was saying that their crystals fell out of their bra and they would love a bra with pockets, and it turns out there is a bra with pockets. You can get a bra with pockets. I don't think it was made with crystals in mind, but put them in the pockets. I've like, you can't really see them, probably a good thing, but I'm quite busty, so I can fit quite a few crystals in my bra. But there we are. Oh, thank you, Helen. Oh, your hubby came up with the name. That's really nice. I love that. I always find people's names on like YouTube really interesting. Same on Facebook, because not everyone uses their actual name, and then you get some really strange names come up. Yep, you can definitely put crystals on a dog collar. I actually sold those for a while, and weirdly enough, who my husband works with, her mum has started making handmade dog collars, and I was saying to him to get to contact me about a little collab thing, but I'm digressing because I reminded myself, and I should have reminded him today because he was seeing her. But yes, you can absolutely put them on a dog collar. You want to make sure they're secure because obviously dogs and cats, you can put them on cats collars, will eat stuff. My cats wouldn't eat stuff, but a lot of cats do eat stuff and a lot of dogs do eat stuff they should not do. So if you want to attach them to the collar, there's a couple ways of doing it safely. You can get the little cages that you put the tumble stone in. And what I would suggest you do is put something like, either they're really, really cheap. So I would personally get a few of them if you want to change crystals and stuff, but get something tacky or sticky that you can kind of stick it in so it can't come out or come off, and make sure it's really well connected because we don't want any choking hazards for our pets. And you can get little like you know, the little tiny little crystal heart pendants they do and stuff like that. You can easily connect them to a collar as well. Really simple way of adding crystals to your pet's collar. Most pets love it. If they don't love it, they will let you know because they will try like hell to get that off. So it can be a bit of an experiment to see what your pet likes. My cats love crystals, so they will often go and lay on crystals. If I put them on the floor, I can give them crystal treatments. They're very into their crystals. But my friend's dog does not like having clear quartz on it at all. It's too much energy for him. So instead, he prefers much more gentle stones. So he often wears like a rose quartz, little star, I think it is, and stuff like that. So just experiment with the pets. Same with your pets can have crystal waters and elixirs as well. Obviously, don't be giving them alcohol. That would not be good. Although in a teeny tiny amount, it wouldn't do anything. But you don't really want to give them alcohol. But a lot of people do give their pets elixirs. You can make calming sprays for your pet. If your pet has anxiety or is unwell, you can make a crystal elixir spray and spray it around their area, over their bed, and you can put alcohol in that. That's perfectly safe. Spray it over their bed, just a couple of mists before you go out or you go to sleep at night. You can treat them with just one drop in their water bowl of usually very gentle crystals. So you're really talking clear quartz. You can definitely use if they are not well, but one drop is all that's needed. But little gentle crystals, if they have anxiety, your pet has anxiety, an amethyst elixir, just a drop in their water bottle, really, really great. Pets respond really, really well to them. But very, very tiny doses, and be careful of what crystals you use. So I think we have covered everything and more from what I'm thinking. Can I think of anything else? Any more ways to use your essences and elixirs? You can use them in the bath as well. You can put crystals directly in your bath as long as they are water safe. Which is like calcites and quartzes. Don't put selenite in your bath. That would not be good. Don't put blue kyanites in your bath, black kyanite in your bath. These are friable crystals. They're not what you want in your bath with you. So follow similar rules of what you would use direct or indirect for your bath as well. And that's a really good thing to do. Yeah, you can, exactly. Cats love them, Helen. So you can definitely have a spray for your cats. I have sprays for mine, and I actually do make them. I'm sorry, Helen. I don't advertise it, but I do make them for some of my long-term customers that it's never been on the website. They just know I do it from me talking about it privately. So I'm sorry, but if you want me to let you know how to do it, Helen, just send me a message. But yes, I should put my pet range on the website, but honestly, I don't have time, and I only make it when I make the ones for my cats, and I do it in rotation, and then I have people that I send them out to automatically. I'm digressing. But no, I'll put something, I tell you what I'll do, I'll put a couple of like meme recipes together and put them in the group, Helen. If I haven't done it by the end of the week, nudge me. If you are not in my closed group on Facebook, then do come over and join us. It's closed, so no one on your Facebook can see what you're writing. I do loads of lives in there, often with hilarious consequences. I'm sure Helen and Anna can attest to that. So we have lots of lives, extra content. They get pre-orders on my Holistic Witch subscription box and my Ritual of the Month subscription box. They get discount codes. We have a giveaway going on right now as well for a cauldron and a handmade incense. The group is where it's at. And honestly, it's a lot of the time the group's fault that I'm not doing the YouTube videos, because when I do have time to do a video, I'm doing a live in the group. So if you're not in the group, come over. I can put a link, I think, on here, can't I? Let me get you a link. Look at me getting all into the technologies. Oh, it's a miracle, I tell you. It really is. Right, here we go. I'm going to put it in the feed. This is the link to the group. You do need to fill in both questions to get admitted to the group. If you do not answer the questions, you will be declined, because the group is, I have a page which has like well over 1,000 likes that I post on as well. But I'm in the group every day, and it's very much a community. So people are very safe to share their pictures of their altars, to ask questions, to come on the lives. It's a very, I hold that container very tightly. So we can't just have like people just like whooping in and, you know, doing naughty things. So here's the link to the group for those that need it. Did that come up? Can someone let me know? Because like I say, this is the first time using this and I have no idea if it's coming up. Let's have a drink. Oh, if you're in my group, mug of the day. They know what that means. The rest of you, I apologize deeply. But mug of the day. Yes, we have lots of like crazy time fun in the group, you know. We never really know what's going to happen because like I'm pretty unpredictable and I don't edit anything, and now I've found lives and they upload everything instantly anyway, so there's no chance I'm just going to be crazy town. Thank you, Anna. I've got another mug coming. I have a mug problem. Oh my God. I have a mug coming that's going to be my mug for our energy management course. I thought, what better occasion could there be to get a new mug? So I will unveil that in our first live in the energy management private group. So look forward to that. It's fun with mugs, as Sheldon would say. Although it's getting worse, that program. I'm glad it's ending. It's not funny like it used to be. I think I've got everyone's questions before I go off on a tangent about Big Bang Theory. I'm much more like the other one. What's that about the little Sheldon? That's very good. Cracks me up. I think I have everyone's questions. Yeah, any last questions before I head off? Because I've been on here for a long time, and today I have oils to make and all sorts of things to make. I have like a list on my computer of orders to get done today. Our Ritual of the Month oil is being done today. They're going out soon. Oh, pre-orders. Remember, pre-orders for the December subscriptions are going live in the group. So if you're watching this on YouTube, they go live for everyone else on the website on the 15th, going live in the group on the, hang on now, I'm going to have to check because I'm having I'm having a Claire moment. On the 12th, Monday the 12th. I think I said the 13th before, but I was wrong. It was the 12th. They will be live for pre-order in the group on the 12th. And instead of going out on the 15th of December, they are going out on the 10th of December because a load of my customers are international. So you need these in time for Yule and the New Year. So remembered to let you know because I think I forgot to do it in the group. So I've done it here. Fabulous. Thank you for sending a thing to join the group. I'll be popping over to Facebook in a minute. Glad you found me live, Casey. I think I'll do some more videos this way because I'll be able to do videos more often this way because as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm done with it. YouTube's just going to upload it for me and I don't have to splice. I mean, a video this long, it would have been like 4 bits and it would have taken me probably about 5 hours to, you know, stick it together, whatever that's called. And then I'd have had to upload it. So doing videos this way gives me a lot more time to come and speak to you all on YouTube. So that is awesome. Sawsome. Very much looking forward to it. I have no idea how to end this though. I just came to this conclusion. How do I end it? Oh no, there's no stop button. We could be here for days. Oh dear, let me press some buttons and see what happens. What does this? No, that's not it. We're going to press buttons. Who knows what's going to happen, everyone? Apologies in advance. What's that? Oh, that's a creepy button. I don't like that one. What's this? Top chat, live chat, no chats. No, I don't want that. Do I just press the X, do you think? I don't know. I don't want to be like, press the X and then there you are watching me on YouTube for the rest of the day while I'm like making orders and stuff. How creepy. All right, we're going to try pressing the X. So there's a good chance we're hoping that this is goodbye for today, unless you're over in the group, okay? Wish me luck, everyone. Pressing the X. Are you sure that you want to stop stream? Oh, we found it. Yes, I want to stop. Goodbye.